All right, here we go again.
Start it off.
In between, the rules are there are no rules, except that,
We don't talk about Planet of the Apes.
yeah, you can't talk about Planet of the Apes.
We can't?
No.
We
Why?
can't.
Well, we can talk about
a whole
anything we
week.
want to, but the rules are that there are no rules as far as if you have kids in the car, they can go fuck off right now because we're not bleeping.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have something that I am probably not technically contractually supposed to share, but I can share.
Well, it was so long ago. Why wouldn't you be able to share?
Well, I mean, both. There's two of them. There's two things that I
Okay.
really technically can't talk about.
Okay.
But my question is, have you guys ever been on reality TV or tried out for reality TV?
Not that I
I've
know
not
of.
been on one that I'm aware of, but I have tried out.
What did you try out for?
The Amazing Race when I lived in Oklahoma.
Oh, who was your partner?
A guy that I worked with.
Yeah, how did it go?
We sent a tape and never heard him.
Never heard back?
Yeah.
They don't play like that. These are the people that tried out, here are their tapes kind of thing?
No, they don't do that. No.
They do that in RuPaul. Like here's the other people who tried in. Losers. No. But they'll show people's audition tapes sometimes.
And I lied. I did try out for a reality show, Project Greenlight.
What's
Oh,
Project
yeah,
Greenlight?
that's-
It was Ben Affleck and
Matt Damon.
did their whole thing where if we just, if we choose you, you get to make a movie. I did not make it very far in the directing round, but my script made it to the next to last round.
Yeah, they were doing directors and writers.
And
okay.
the weird thing was that I didn't make it into the personal interview, but what they did was when you submitted it, you also had to read a number of scripts and submit reviews on it. The problem was, and look,
Everybody wants to trash not their scripts so
Right.
that their script looks better.
so
Right.
I got I think I had 5 people read, and this one, I'm sorry, my chair is really jacked up. This one woman who reviewed me, and I knew it was a woman because she referred to me. I can tell that you're a man in a situation like this. No woman would write, and it was really ugly. But we were supposed to write genre scripts, and I wrote a horror film. And at the end, one of the tropes of horror films is you put a kid in jeopardy. That is just, think about what Hereditary did, Sean. It puts a
Yeah.
kid in jeopardy. Damien Noman. And at the end, the kid is the one that falls prey to it. She blew me apart, saying I was almost next to a pedophile for my usage of children.
Wow.
And gave me the lowest score she could. And they let you see where your scores were, and my scores were just down. And I could have at least made it to the last round to see if I would make it.
If she had not given that review?
That review
Wow.
killed me.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was 10 years ago.
And how long did Project Greenlight last?
It went away after a while, and they brought it back.
3 seasons total or something like that.
It never was a success. It's a great
It was
idea.
an HBO show, I think, at first, and then moved to Bravo or something.
Yeah, and they brought it back not too long ago, and it didn't work either. Robert Rodriguez, who did El Mariachi, has done his where he had the book Rebel Without a Crew, where he produced a film for $7,500 and he wrote about it. Well, now it's Director Without a Crew or Rebel with a Crew or something like that, where they actually went and said try out for it. So the idea that you can go out there and make a film and somebody's going to help you make it is still there. But that was the closest. I didn't ever get the on-camera interview. We were already told if you make it the next round, you're going to do the on-camera interviews.
Shoot, after doing that web series for 3 seasons, I want to kind of do something like that. I kind of want to I'm doing the CW33 recaps and getting in front of a camera and stuff. It'd be kind of fun to actually do a creative project again that is visual, like a web series or a show or something like that. We're watching Schitt's Creek right now. And
That show is surprisingly funny.
I've heard it was good.
It honestly reminds me of the Variants on some level. So when I see them acting, I'm like, I want to do that. I want to get up there and I want to do comedy on a script again. And scripted comedy, it'd be so much fun.
Right.
So anyways-
So you were talking reality series before we got you off on this.
So which one should I talk about first?
Whichever one.
We'll talk about Ninja Warrior.
All right.
Okay.
So Ninja Warrior was going to different towns, and they had tryouts. And you had to go to a particular gymnastics gym on a day or whatever, and anybody could go, and you just kind of had to show off or do something, right? Since I was a gymnast, I did like a backflip or something on the bars. I don't remember exactly what it was, or the rings. And it was interesting, and I talked in front of the camera, and there was probably like 20 or 30 people there that also talked in front of the camera and did some weird like flip or whatever. And I went with a buddy, and my buddy didn't get called back, but I did. They thought my application was interesting enough, the video was interesting enough. They actually went through a casting process. Like, I had to actually talk to a producer on the phone. I had to submit some more information about my background, anything interesting about me. And once I got past that, they invited me to come and try the actual Ninja Warrior course.
Mm-hmm.
So I show up. It's at Fair Park in downtown Dallas. They've got the whole course set up. And there was about 200 other people that had all gone through the same casting process. There were CrossFitters, there were boxers, there were parkour people, there were wrestlers, there were all sorts of different, they were all athletes for sure. But they'd all gone through a somewhat lengthy casting process. So when you watch the show, none of those people on that show didn't go through a casting process. They just didn't
show up and
they didn't show up and win the course, and therefore they get to move on. And then they started interviewing. Every single person got vetted before they got to run the course.
Right.
So I got up and the first was the stepping stones of the water. Man, I am not a parkour person. I jumped on 2 step stones and I fell right in the water. So that was it. I was out.
They don't give you any. You don't get a second chance no more.
No, nothing. They took the 200, and whoever actually made it most way through the course got to go to the next day. And the next day was when they were actually filming. Today they weren't filming. They just wanted to see how far you could get in. And then the next day you would do the same course with some modifications to see how far you'd get in.
Gotcha.
So that's how that worked. But, and this is the part where I don't know if I can talk about it or not.
Too late.
Yeah, G4 had just been bought by, what's the magazine? Men's Fitness?
Maxim?
Maxim.
Yeah.
Was it Maxim?
Something like that.
G4 got bought. Okay. And they decided instead of doing, because all they had was Ninja Warrior, they decided they wanted to become a lifestyle channel, right? More men's lifestyle. So about a year after, I got a call from a producer. And they said, hey, we're going over, last year's Ninja Warrior stuff, and we've kind of changed the channel up a little bit, and we would like to follow your journey to conquering the Ninja Warrior course. But they were specifically interested in me because I was a gay man that'd been in a relationship for 10 years, and they specifically wanted to follow a gay couple through the process of training for and taking the course.
Now, that's funny you say that, because when you were doing this, and we've said this before, Sean and I first met being that we both worked in production. I mean,
we met at work, yeah.
Yeah, we've been with, I've stayed in production all these years, and his wife's there. I know Chris has done some stuff with that. Production, you had the very callous side, and I tell people all the time, reality is not reality. You're looking for a type and you're looking for a story. So when you said that, I thought, as a producer, I bet you one of the first things they gleaned on was you're a gay man. And I wondered how long you and Chris had been together. I swear it. I could almost see into their brains of why you're attractive to them.
That was exactly what it was. Now, it was never spoken, but in the conversations that I had with them, and again, I'm just reading into what they said. This wasn't on paper, so don't quote me on this. I got the impression that they were going to help me so that I would not just fall in the water when I first got on the course. Now, whether that meant, here's a place to train, here's a way to try the course, here's some parkour lessons, whatever that journey was to follow me, I got the impression that it was going to really help me get an edge on actually tackling the course. And I read into that. They didn't say that, but I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. The reason that I didn't do it was I had a lot going on at the time. I was still doing, I actually finished the variants, but really it was about whether my husband Chris wanted to be on camera. And Chris was excited for me, but Chris did not want to be on camera. He's not somebody who likes to be in front of the camera.
Right.
So ultimately I decided not to do it.
Gotcha.
But I am on one reality show.
Okay.
Cheaters?
Oh, that's right. You told about that. Tell it again.
Did I talk about it on here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did
Tell
I
it.
talk about on the
No,
in-between?
I think we may have teased it on an in-between, but you never tell the true story. Tell it.
Oh, so
You're our reality star. That's all there is to it.
Now there might be something contractually that will get me in trouble for this, so I need to be a little cautious. I don't know.
No one's going to hear it.
It's so long ago. How could that?
It's coming back though.
Yeah, but you're also not doing anything. You know what? If we need to, and it comes back to it, we'll just edit it out. I'll keep a raw copy of this, and we'll fix it.
So, just so the audience knows, Cheaters was based in Dallas. So when you look, they would do a little bit of filming in other places. So when you watch the couples in Dallas on Cheaters, 80% of them are actually in Dallas.
Okay.
You may see some locations. You may recognize some things. You may even begin to recognize people. Well, let me tell you, when you have 12 to 16 seasons of a show that features 1 to 3 couples on a thing, Dallas is big, but it's not that big.
And to be fair to those people that don't know what Cheaters is, this was a reality show that simply, as it sounds,
Reality in quotes.
yes, exposed people having
Affairs
of some sort.
on their spouses, on their
Right.
boyfriends, on their husbands, wives, whatever,
Okay.
on the
They
things.
would bust them on camera.
Correct. So, a friend of mine set me up with a producer, and I brought my friend Kelly to come along. And
Kelly is a woman.
who's totally a woman. And basically, Kelly and I on the show were a couple, and I had suspected Kelly of cheating on me with her boss, which was my friend Scott. And so we staged an entire scene on Cheaters where she was cheating on me with her boss.
So they didn't. There is absolutely no reality to that. It's a scripted show
Correct.
masquerading as a reality entirely.
I was told to the side that a percentage of them are and a percentage of them are not, but they just can't find enough real to be real all the time.
Because, okay, so every reality show you go out there, and it may be Richard is the star of this, but they're creating, again, the persona of what it was. Before, it was that you're a gay man in a long-standing relationship, you want to do this, and it's your, of course, here, that's your story. This isn't even taking Richard, a gay man, but it's you might be Richard, but this is who you are.
I know. So, I suspected Kelly of cheating on me, and then the TV guy came in and showed me the evidence of Kelly, who is now with Scott, eating at our favorite restaurant, Snooki's, and having nachos. And then there's a shot of them in one of the producers' bedrooms, looking through the windows, where Kelly basically climbs on top of Scott to kiss him, and it's like, oh, scandalous. So I have to have a confrontation while the two of them are leaving work one day, which is literally the office above the store. And the fight ended up going into the store. I mean, if you follow it logically, it makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, the best part of it was me picking up Scott and throwing him on the ground. It was awesome. It was a really fun time. So I got to say I was on Cheaters.
Is it on YouTube somewhere?
Yes. I will tell you privately the episode,
Okay,
season
good.
and episode number.
And
so
I
you can
promise
find
you,
it.
I will not share it on Twitter.
Ah.
But
You'll edit in the gaping ape at the end of the episode, huh?
that's right. Anytime anything ever happens that it's Richard, I'm going to put gaping ape.
So I had to come back later to talk about what had happened afterwards, and it was basically a story where she left with the boss, and I was about to propose to her, and I had a ring and all sorts of stuff.
Did they feed you the actual lines they want you to say, or did they say this is essentially the story we want you to tell it in your own words? Or can you not say that? Okay.
Why
Moving
don't you?
on.
There was a lot of stuff, a lot of the things that I made up all my dialogue.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
I made up all my dialogue.
Okay. Did they tell you? Well,
I made up all my dialogue.
Okay.
All my dialogue was my own.
There you go.
so reality shows, do you watch them at all?
For fun, but I don't like watch anything on a regular. No. Well, I guess RuPaul's Drag Race.
I was about to say, and I know
I do
him
watch
with
that.
I know him with Amazing Race. I watched Deadliest Catch, which I mentioned before, and I knew that you had mentioned RuPaul.
RuPaul's Drag Race. I watch that one.
I get
for
all
sure.
the housewives by osmosis from my wife.
But I know when I watch these shows, having been behind the scenes on a few of these things, the producers are moving these people into these positions.
Yeah.
And yes, some of the emotion and a lot of the dialogue is real, but a lot of times these people know they're on cameras. They
Right.
know they're supposed to act
Yeah,
up. They know they're supposed to be over the top.
I've heard stories of people that really didn't like each other, and they would agree to save their arguments for when they're on camera.
Right.
Yeah, there's a. Let me backtrack. When I grimaced at Sean when he said he hears the Housewives by osmosis, I wasn't grimacing in that you're implying that JJ watches. What I'm grimacing is that my daughter watches not reality shows, but the teenage version of reality show is a lot of the garbage that is on YouTube. And it's these people talking about stuff, and I hear her do it, and I'm just like, I can't get into that. It doesn't have any context to me that makes any sense. But really what I want to get to is there's a great show, at least it was great the first season, and I forget what network it's on, but called Unreal. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's a dramatic show where it's basically about the production team producing like a Bachelor type TV show. And it's produced and created by someone who was knee deep in the actual Bachelor. And so
Yeah.
she's coming in and telling those very stories. And she'll walk up and they're fighting. She goes, hang on. Everybody settle down. You go over here. Okay. Can we get cameras over here? You know, and they do it.
Yeah.
And go. And you realize how absolutely fake the moment is, but it's so real the way they